How many of these startups who have come with you have made some big strides in the business world? Can you talk about them?
There is a company called KreditBee. Right, KreditBee is again somebody who came into GINSERV somewhere in 2016, 2017, and kind of today, like only 3 or 4 of them kind of came in, and they built a huge, lending platform. And today, at a time when the lending was kind of a very complex thing for the certain, whether it is individuals or businesses. So that is when these 3 co-founders sat together and kind of looked at this problem, and they have built a very successful organization. And today they're about, I'm told, 2,500-3,000 employees. Till recently, they used to hold a small office in GINSERV, though they had moved out quite some time back. Then
GINSERV is a lucky charm.
Yeah, I mean that a lot of them kind of do say that. In fact, they say that being here itself gives us
the energy in that place, the positivity.
And it is the positive vibrations. That is what they talk about. Then we had another company which is called WIOS Health Technologies. The WIOS actually became WIOS Murata. Murata is a Japanese electronics manufacturer. Got acquired. Japanese Murata acquired WIOS. WIOS was started by a few engineers who came out of Wipro, and they were sitting and building this product for the post-cardiac surgical complications. So how do you kind of, monitor those complications? Because a lot of deaths used to happen post the cardiac surgeries and procedures. So this is one of the problems that they were kind of solving. And that is when Murata saw, because Murata had come to GINSERV as a part of the soft landing exercise. So they were trying to explore opportunities in the Indian market. And they had their office in our premises. And in one corner we had WIOS founders were building. And then in one of the meetings they met together, and then they acquired WIOS. And that's gone on to become big. GoCoop is another story. Then currently we have Cradlewise, which is again built by 2 husband and wife team, Radhika and Bharat Patel. They are building a very interesting product, which is like a IoT based cradle for the newborn babies. Because typically when this is the problem that Radhika herself went through when she delivered the baby. The baby sleep cycles and the parent sleep cycles were not aligned. That had a huge impact on the productivity of them, because they were working couple. So how to kind of, this must be happening in the corporate world, whoever kind of, So that is when they about building this IoT based cradle, and now they are doing extremely well. Their product is in the American markets, and they have raised about 7 million funding. They are currently, their entire development center is housed in GINSERV. So there are quite a lot of, and then through our Startup India Seed Fund, we have one example that it's a company called Nautical Wings. Again, it's founded by 3 young engineers who had this passion to build very indigenous electrical propulsion system. That is because in fact it was their project when they were in the 3rd year. I mean, that is what Shiv Varun, the founder, told us. And they came to us.
Came a long way.
Yes, they came to us when they had just, very raw prototype, and in a small room they were trying to build. And this was around COVID, and when we had started the Startup India Seed Fund. So we felt that there is a potential. Okay. So we went ahead and gave them some initial fund to kind of build that prototype. Now today, Idea Forge, which is India's largest defense drone supplier, is one of their investors. Okay.
Wow.
And these youngsters now, they have gone and raised about good investment.
Nice.
And they are going global. And so we have quite a lot of
the list can go on.
Yeah.
How do you identify and how do you choose a startup into GINSERV?
Yeah, so when we choose for our program or for our any incubation efforts, essentially what we look at is firstly we look at the founder. Okay, whether is he somebody kind of open to certain suggestions, ideas? Is he coachable? Is he flexible? Okay. Or is he kind of, somebody who's very defensive, and then he says that I'm doing the right thing, but then that becomes a bit difficult. So that's predominantly a kind of a founder fitment.
Yes.
Okay.
I think all the startup guys, please listen to this carefully. It's very important inputs.
That's one part. And then having looked at that, we kind of do a deep dive in the idea that they are trying to build. So there are essentially three aspects. One is you start, typically most of them who come to us are the builders. Okay, they have the technological understanding. They have the kind of, they know how to build a platform or bring in that hardware features and everything. But what happens, there is a certain when you are building for a certain sector or a certain market, you need to kind of understand the regulatory aspect of it.
Also.
Okay, and whether you are building it for B2C or B2B or B2B2C or B2G, we need to. So there are different dynamics at play, right? So we kind of, sit with you and then kind of, try and give you a kind of a complete detailed understanding of that. Our experts do that. Okay. Especially when Healthtech. Okay. If you're building certain medical devices, you need to completely understand what are the kind of regulatory aspects. Okay. So that's the other part. And then we kind of go into the other thing that, okay, from a technology standpoint, now today AI is something which is very, most of the platforms it's the buzzword. Everyone kind of tries to leverage that aspect of it. So how it is kind of, and then whether there is a regional inclusivity or the diversity, because India has already kind of built the OPI stack, whether how well it is kind of integrated into your kind of, vision. Okay. Then that said, most importantly, because this is the tech and the product and all that is there, but now the market part of it. Okay, the go to market. Right, the go to market in there, who you are building, having that clarity, who is kind of many time what happens, okay, I have beautiful solution, okay, but who is it for?
Correct.
Do you have that clarity?
Yes.
Okay, who is your target audience? Okay, what is the customer persona? Okay, what kind of distribution strategy? Okay, how you're kind of going to go and take this to the market and scale it up, right? So that is where the entire GTM part comes in, and the pricing, the unit economics and all that. So that is where the third part is that now the revenue. You need to start kind of going and
Generate
to kind of
revenues.
initially get your customers on board, and then whether what kind of feedback that they are giving you,
Correct.
how you're kind of pivoting,
Correct.
how you're
Based on those
yes,
feedbacks.
exactly. So these are the three broadly
Important.
very important cogs in that wheel.
Okay.
So this is where kind of we kind of spend quite a lot of time
Nice.
and assess them.